Today is the day official. Zach Thomas goes to the Hall of Fame. And Zach is like the Rocky of the Miami Dolphins. He wasn't supposed to make it. He didn't have what it takes, quote unquote. But through hard work, through giving of his body, he made it and then rose to the highest level. And Zach Thomas is just a guy that, I mean, if you're human, you love. If you're a Dolphins fan, you love. And so it was a great day. I'm not going to really cover that there. I mean, I'll do something on the side. I'm really excited to hear his speech. But I'm going to cover today's practice and the main stories that kind of flowed out of that. We're getting a feel, a vibe. And we don't know where that's actually going to head. Some things are being clear, and there's going to be noise that kind of makes some of these things appear unclear. And they might end up being a different direction. But I think we're kind of seeing things. Now, the big news today, besides Zach, is Cam Smith got hurt in a drill. It was raining. I think that's when he slipped. Maybe not. But he slipped in the drill, and he went to the back, and we're still waiting to hear. I'm sure the guy's fine. But we'll wait to see. Terron, my man Terron is back. I thought it'd be a little bit, maybe another week or so before he came back. Some people said he wasn't going to see anything. I don't think he's going to see any preseason games. But you need to get your body into the groove to take those hits, or you're going to get hurt. So he's going to have some level of physicality. He's back, and of course I'm going to cover that, right? Then competition at the guard spot. It's being leaked out. Yesterday was the flashing red spotlight on Eichenberg. And, there was this and that in the media. They can't really talk about who's in these positions, but we heard that there was rotation at the left guard spot. So I'm going to cover that as well. Then Fangio, he had his thing, keeping it real about the defense. A lot of media guys were very excited about that. I'm going to talk about that. And then just add in the rest of the stuff as well. But we have to remember that the practice had a lot of rain in it. And, rain creates different environments and different skill sets and different ways of accentuating what you want to do on the field is either hindered or accentuated through the rain. So we have to keep that in context as we make these evals and attach them to the prior evals. Now, tomorrow is a scrimmage. The Yutz Curtis, Monkey Man, thanks to Alf from 3 yards to go. He poses as Saturdays is the inter-squad scrimmage. Falcons come next week. This is about evaluation, trying to be honest evaluation. I do think that I bring quality information in certain venues of expressing what I'm saying here. But then there's a lot of monkey in me. And we all know that, as you can see here from Lamar Curtis, it's pronounced Oyufusi. That's Daniel, I think his name's Daniel Oyufusi. I can't pronounce. I suck at pronouncing. I'm definitely a monkey in that. And I got ADD, which is great in a lot of ways. I can hyper-focus on things. I go through vast amounts of information and pull it out. Unfortunately, if my mind says it sees something and I don't understand it, I got to stop and check. Sometimes I spit out stupid information. And I thought I saw a team was coming in, but it was scrimmage and my mind processed someplace else. So thanks, Alf, as always. That's why he's the pro and I'm the monkey. But I try to be a good-hearted monkey that does bring some good stuff to the table. So, guys, keep that when you evaluate what I'm saying. I have a tendency to screw up pronunciations intensely, and occasionally I'll grab some data and just, write up the yin-yang with it. So anyway, sorry about that mess up, guys. So before I continue, I want to say thank you for the likes, the subscribes, the comments, especially the comments, the views, everything you guys are doing. It's keeping this channel going. It's telling Ace per head that I'm, doing my job and keeps me in business. So I want to give you guys a shout out. And a shout out to Eichenberg, my sponsor, because because without the two of you, this show ain't going down. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. All right, so Chris Perkins, Cam Smith walked gingerly off the field with trainer. Doesn't appear he'll return today. McDaniel wasn't available for interview, so we're still waiting to see what it is. It's a big deal if he's hurt because we obviously have Jalen Ramsey. So we got to wait and see. I'm on pins and needles. This kid's just doing so well. It's such a great story. It feels good to cover the kid. The kid's a good kid. He's overperforming in a lot of ways. And so let's hope that it's nothing, but this is a big story until it becomes nothing, okay? So now this left the door open for Noah, and I've been saying for a while, the Fangio system, you can go back and check how zone is going to allow Noah to not have his weaknesses exposed. A lot of his weaknesses were exposed in man. Vertical routes, he was really good at covering in man, but anytime there was an alteration of the trajectory of that route, one or worse, more, he was just left in the dust. He just didn't have that shadow technique in man. And he was also has been very, very timid in the physicality department. Now, there's something there. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I can't say. I just know what it is. But in zone, he's played well when he has certain kind of zones. And this accentuation, this movement towards more zone is definitely going to help the kid. And it's starting to get the talk now that, I think even Howard mentioned it yesterday, that the kid's doing pretty good. It's going to be a lot of money to cut him. I think it's like $4 or $5 million to let him walk. So Trill Williams is playing safety. You got Smith now dinged. Hopefully I'm working on making that mentally the process, throwing it into the ether and then demanding that that's the case. And then you got Ramsey coming from serious surgery. The door is wide open for Noah. It is now or never. I don't know, because there's a few contracts where guys that like bubble guys you might want, and there's about $13 million left in the kitty, but we're at negative through 32 next year. So they might be forced to keep some of these guys. Now Noah, if we're going to be forced to keep him, he's got to produce. Let's see how he does. It'll be very, very interesting. I'm hoping Cam Smith's back quick. Kohu's been playing awesome. X is playing awesome. Now it is time for Noah. Let's see how it plays out. It's a big deal because you let him go and you're gonna take a financial hit. And if you keep him to not take the financial hit and he doesn't produce, so let's see. We got Apple back there as well. Eli Apple. Now, Terron, my man, is back. I didn't want to put this as the number one story because, it is. And Cam's injury is obviously bigger. We knew Terron was coming back. But from a feel-good standpoint, this I really wanted to. I love Terron. And you can see people like, wow, Terron's really good. Terron came back. You see Omar Kelly right here. Agba with his hand in the ground finally. Terron turned him, though. Day one, and the guy is so talented. He's a Hall of Famer if he had stayed healthy through his career. He's just an unbelievable guy. I think of all the Dolphins, I think I would like to, I don't know, as a couple, but he's right up there as one of those guys I'd love to meet. He's just a cool cat. So this is going to tie into the whole offensive line thing. There's a lot of good stuff, and you're going to get, you have to remember that, I'm a little guy and I have more freedom to say what I want. And, even though ultimately if it's not approved by the fans, I will lose my gig here. But when you got guys that are in like the big time, they're in a weird place. It's very, very difficult. Since I started doing this, I've had a lot more respect and understanding of the position some of these guys are in with the access being tied to what they say. There's a lot that goes into it, guys. And you got to give some grace to these guys. But it's kind of like, if something bad happens, you got to kind of, massage it in a sense, especially at this stage. And so we're heard that there's competition at the left guard spot. And now we're hearing that, from the staff and from, the big media guys, that Wynn's going to get in there and there is real competition, but there's nothing tangible to say that this competition is going to, be substantially better than now I do believe that Wynn or Jones are better just right flat out than Eichenberg. I think Eichenberg is nosediving. I think he should have nosedived, 2 years ago. I understood why 21 he was in. We were just kind of like, somebody said, Flowers, we don't need you. We're going to trade you for a song and a dance and pay money to get you out of here. Karras, we don't need you. And here you go. And Jackson and Eichenberg were forced in there because there's nobody else. So I got that. But 22, it was a bizarro land. Eichenberg was injured. He came back, and they're like, well, it's a really tough decision between Jones and Eichenberg. And it isn't. It isn't. And, a lot of people kind of were arguing with me about this and that. But I think we're at a stage right now that it is so obvious that whatever the forces behind to keep him in are like, well, listen, we can't compromise the season, and it's getting to the point of no mas. I don't believe Wynn is the guy. I think that you put him in the meat grinder inside there, there's a much higher chance of him getting injured. Doesn't mean he does. I think he does bring a better skill set in many levels than Eichenberg, but there is a weakness to power, and I think it's going to get exposed along with this injury thing. And I don't think that this is going to be a big win for the Dolphins to move Eichenberg out and to bring, say, Wynn in there. I do like Jones a lot, as I've said in the past. He's just a big guy. He doesn't get destroyed through power. He does lack a little bit of agility, especially on his own stretch. But we have two better options than Eichenberg. But clearly, the second and third round pick on Eichenberg is kind of like, let's take it as what it is. I heard somebody call him Awfulberg now. He's a human being. He's doing his best, guys. But the evaluation it's a disaster. And I think that's going to continue. Now, the offensive line was said to have picked up the blitz well. And I think with the rain, it's really hard to evaluate. It's good that they picked it up. Who was blitzing? Who picked it up? When did it happen? We don't know. But this is the information. We just got to store it. Now, you can see here a person who I think that can be salvaged and bring something to the table is Austin Jackson. As much as that people are like, what? You? But when you're balancing between Eichenberg and Jackson, it is like, with Jackson, I think he does bring things to the table. Maybe not definitely not the 18th, but we've been hearing that he's had a good camp. He's been really doing well. And, we have to take this little piece here as when did it happen? Did it happen in the rain? Did it not? But we've heard him getting beat. We've got to see. I do believe there's a possibility of some kind of upward trajectory. I think the kid's really smart. He does have the talents. Well, let's see. But you can see Ogba with a sack on Tua beat Austin Jackson easily. Now, Terron comes in, first day, boom. Austin Jackson beat easily, and he's been beaten easily before. Although I think I saw the other day, he did beat Ogba in a drill. So let's see. Just store this here for you. But this offensive line is going to play out critical. And I think at least addition by subtraction, by stashing Eichenberg to the back of the train is good news for the kid and for this team. But let's see who's going to step in to replace him and how that goes. So moving on, Omar Kelly again, Raekwon Davis with a sack of Tua on a play. Aga forced him to step up in the pocket. Aga is having his way with Jackson today. So that ties back into it wasn't just one play, it's today. And that leaves me because, Agba's a good pass rusher, but he relies on the power more. It's not a speed move. I think Jackson will work better against, say, a Phillips where it's speed, but the power aspect is what I've always said is a key issue. It's just very weird for a kid that big, although he is only 24, and that maturation process for guys happens different time. When it finally hits for him, maybe he'll be the guy we all want, but when will that be, and will it be to the degree we want? So that's a downward trajectory on that one. But we're going to see the scrimmage tomorrow, thanks, Alf, again, is going to tell a lot, because when you got that scrimmage going, it is serious. It's all serious, but there is a level of things getting turned up in a scrimmage, and guys are like, I got to do this here. Some guys that are off trajectory or they're on trajectory when they keep it. This gets heated and it gets serious, so we're going to really have to watch tomorrow. I'm so excited. So now, the last big piece of the news is the Fangio thing. Here, Fangio, it was an article, I can't remember which one it was. Fangio also hinted that the new inside linebacker, David Long, isn't performing as well as the media seems to think, saying the newcomer, Miami, signed to a 2-year deal worth $10 million has been too inconsistent. Fangio also wasn't pleased with what he's seen from the backup linebackers, which explains why Andrew Van Ginkel is being cross-trained as both an inside and outside linebacker. And I forgot what the article was. I don't want to say who it was, but I think I know who it was, but just in case. It said, Vic Fangio's blunt honesty appears to be a staple of his personality, and it's quite insightful. Everybody, look, when Flores was here, everybody loved him when he first got here. The way he acted, his toughness, and the way he talked, and then he was a monster. If Vic Fangio if this team's not succeeding, then the honesty means it will be players, they resent the way he talked to the media. There's always going to be two ways to present this, and it's not always as is. I love the honesty, but let's hope that if things don't go the right way, they're still going to be saying this. But as far as it goes with David Long, he's a linebacker going to a complicated system. He was in one system for a while. The middle linebacker spot's really, really tough. It's so complicated. You got to remember that your drops, you could be a half yard off your drop and leaving a gap over the middle for like you saw with two of the big boom play. It was a Hill Waddle a couple days ago. And it's that half yard, like 3 feet. So, you got all your keys. You got to renew your keys. You got to learn the players in front of you, what they're able to do. I see him going against this guy. I think he could do this. Let me cheat a little bit over here. There is so many things that are going together to process at the middle linebacker position that this should be expected in like week 2. You know what I mean? Like he's had like 7 or 8 practices. So, the guy's doing great. He's going to do great. But it's going to take a little time. And so Fangio's got to say this because when you're a head coach and you're a good head coach, you choose your leaders like Bill used to do with Brady. And the guy who's supposed to be a leader, you got to be able to call him out because it shows that, you're going after this guy who's the leader and how he responds. It allows you to go to the other guys and to drive this thing higher. And that's what Fangio is doing. He's a hard-nosed coach. He's going to, be blunt, be honest, and try to drive this thing to the highest level. And this is expected. I still think the guy's doing really good. He's going to be really good. But this is part of the process of Fangio bringing the defense to where he needs to go because Long is going to be the leader. So, but now the inside linebacker thing is a little bit concerning. I don't know who he's talking about. Is he talking about Baker? Is he talking about Tyndall? Who's he talking about? And I hope it's not Baker, but I would assume it's Tyndall because you got Van Ginkel in there. But Tyndall had a nice play today in the red zone. There was a sighting of Mr. Translucent. So let's see how that plays out. This is something we need to hold on to, but not too tight, especially with Long. But we'll see how it goes. Now, You can see here, Fangio pointed out Channing Tindall, the Dolphins 2022 third-round pick, is still learning the defense, and that appears to be an issue. If Tindall doesn't step up, he could be leapfrogged on the depth chart by a rookie linebacker, Aubrey Miller, an undrafted player from Jackson State. Now, that ain't good. Last year, there was problems. And from what we know, it doesn't mean it's true, is the cerebral aspects to picking up last year's defense kept him on the sideline. Now, if Aubrey Miller jumps him, I got a bad feeling on this. If Van Ginkel and Miller jump Tindall, I'd have to say his opportunity or chances to actually be a high-producing third-round pick linebacker is not good. But we're a long way from that. Let's see. There was some pop in his play today. This could be created as motivation. That's what coaches do. But it is a big story. We've got Easy, we've got Tindall, we've got A-Chain, and we got Cam Smith. These are the main picks of the last 2 years. Cam Smith is looking like a stud. A-Chain is looking good. But we can't just get bupkis from last year's draft. All right, we got to get something from these guys. So let's see how it plays out. And speaking of A-Chain, Omar Kelly, A-Chain with a 15-yard run up the gut. I'd like to have seen that, how it played out. I love what I'm hearing about his pass blocking, his catching. He's going to have little drops. Okay, whatever. His ability to get outside, his speed has been really top. But the two things is the pass blocking. I want to see that continue, and his ability to get inside and be physical, because you got to be able to threaten that defense inside and out. Because if inside you're not effective, then they're going to hedge their bets and work on the outside, and then you'll lose confidence as you get stopped outside and your problems inside. It is essential for him to be a top-notch back. So let's see how that plays. Now, his camp is as good as we've seen. And this is the second year, and I know it's a hot button issue for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. But Barry Jackson, too, had 4 TDs and red zone drills in the rain, several chunk plays, and has thrown just 1 int in 11-11s and 8 training camp practices. That was early in camp. So, I mean, what more can you ask? Does this mean that he's going to be the best quarterback in the universe come game time or whatever? No, but we're evaluating in their process. And in the process, he's doing all he can do. And that's great news. Now, Daniel, yes, I was right. Daniel Oyufusi. Thanks again. What was the brother's name? Lamar. Thanks. Oyufusi. Man. Wish I was smarter. A million things that happened at the Dolphins training camp practice day 8 just now, including a big deal for Tua, the chosen rising. More good work from Philip Sealer, A-Chain, Mike White coming on. So check him out. I like what he does. I think he's so far, I've really been enjoying his presentation of Dolphins information. So check him out. So wrapping it all up, Chubb was back, so it wasn't a big deal. That's big news. Easy was on the sideline, but training. And then, again, obviously the Cam Smith thing is that got everybody's little behind all drawn up. We'll see how that plays out. But overall, a lot of main things are playing out well. We got to see. I'm not really buying into the defensive side with the, yes, he's trying to make it, more perfect. But to me, the real critical concerns right now is this left guard spot, the right tackle spot, and is Cam healthy? But other than that, you can listen to Zach Thomas do his thing and get what he deserves, and we all been waiting for, with a pretty happy smile on your face. So anyway, Curtis saying thanks for stopping by. Catch you next time. Be well. Go Fins. We love you, Zach. We really do. Really. Start building your own online sportsbook today by getting signed up with acebread.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.